the shift begins. Turning 40 isn't just another birthday. It often feels like crossing an invisible bridge. There's something about this number that hits differently. The candles on the cake might be the same, but emotionally, everything begins to shift. Many women say it's a mix of confidence and confusion, peace and pressure, all rolled into one. In our 20s and 30s, we're usually chasing dreams, building families, working hard, proving ourselves, constantly moving from one thing to another. But when we reach 40, something slows down. Not in a bad way, but in a thoughtful way. It's like suddenly we start asking bigger questions. Am I happy? Is this really what I wanted? What now? This emotional shift doesn't mean life gets harder. It just gets realer. We become more aware of time, of choices, of what truly matters. And that awareness can feel both freeing and frightening at the same time. A deeper connection to self. One of the biggest emotional changes women feel after 40 is a stronger connection with themselves. It's almost like, for the first time, we start seeing ourselves clearly, without the filters of expectations or comparisons. The need to please everyone starts to fade, and we begin to listen to our own voice a little more. This is often the time when women start feeling more grounded. We've seen enough of life to understand what we can and can't control, and emotionally, that brings a calm confidence. But along with that peace, there's also reflection, sometimes even regret. We might think about opportunities missed or roads not taken. But the beautiful thing is, 40 is rarely about giving up. It's about rediscovering. Many women say they start reconnecting with hobbies, passions, or dreams they once left behind. There's a quiet emotional courage that blooms, because at this age, we're not as scared of failing. We've done the hard things before. Now it's more about doing what feels right. The pressure of expectations. Yet, as empowering as 40 can feel, it also brings its own emotional weight. Society doesn't always make it easy. Women often face invisible pressures at this stage about aging, appearance, career, relationships, and even motherhood. Many women say they start feeling like they're running out of time, whether it's to achieve certain goals, to look a certain way, or to make major life changes. And emotionally, that can be exhausting. There's this subtle fear that life might be slipping through their fingers, even when they're still standing strong. According to the American Psychological Association, around 1 in 4 women in their 40s report higher levels of stress and anxiety than in their younger years. And that's not because they're unhappy. It's because they're juggling so much. Careers, family responsibilities, aging parents, health concerns, and their own emotional needs all blend together. But here's the interesting part. Most women also say that, despite the stress, they feel emotionally wiser. The storms may come, but they don't shake us the same way they used to. We start handling things differently, with a sense of maturity and strength that only time can teach. Confidence and clarity bloom. While 40 can bring questions and challenges, it also brings one of the most empowering emotional gifts, clarity. Many women begin to realize that they don't need to prove themselves anymore. They know their worth. They understand their value. And that inner confidence starts to glow from within. It's fascinating how emotional priorities shift. In our 20s, we often care deeply about how we're seen, by friends, by partners, by society. But by 40, something changes. We start caring more about how we feel than how we look to others. That emotional confidence makes life richer. Even relationships change. Women begin setting stronger boundaries, saying no without guilt, and choosing peace over people-pleasing. We realize that protecting our energy isn't selfish, it's essential. Emotionally, it's a powerful stage of reclaiming control. And research backs this up.
A Harvard Health study found that women in their 40s often report higher levels of self-acceptance and emotional resilience than at any earlier point in their adult lives. That means while the world may talk about midlife crises, many women are quietly experiencing a midlife awakening. Reflection and reinvention. By the time 40 rolls around, life often feels like a mirror. We start reflecting on who we've been and who we still want to become. Emotionally, this can be a beautiful but complicated process. There's gratitude for how far we've come, but also curiosity about what's next. Many women begin to reinvent themselves during this time. Some start new careers, explore travel, pick up new skills, or simply start focusing more on themselves after years of putting others first. It's almost like a second chapter that's waiting to be written, with more wisdom, less fear, and a deeper understanding of what truly brings joy. Of course, reflection can sometimes stir old emotions, regret, nostalgia, or even sadness. We might look back and think, did I make the right choices? But what's remarkable is that most women don't stay stuck there. The emotional growth at this stage helps turn reflection into motivation. Instead of what if, we start thinking, why not? The body and emotions. We can't talk about turning 40 without mentioning the body and how it ties into emotions. Hormonal changes start to play a big role. Perimenopause, which usually begins in the 40s, can cause mood swings, anxiety, or irritability. And it's not just in our heads, it's a real chemical shift happening inside the body. Many women report that they start feeling more sensitive or emotionally raw at times, even when everything else seems fine. But understanding what's happening biologically helps a lot. It's not weakness, it's the body adjusting to a new rhythm. Interestingly, studies show that women who stay active, sleep well, and practice mindfulness often report feeling emotionally balanced despite these changes. So yes, there might be moments of frustration, but there's also a new appreciation for the body's resilience. We begin to see health not just as physical strength, but as emotional well-being too. Relationships and connections. At 40, emotional connections also take on new meaning. Friendships deepen, but we also become more selective. We crave genuine connections, not just social circles. We value people who understand us, not just know us. Romantic relationships can also go through transformation. Whether married, dating, or single, women often feel a shift in emotional needs. Some crave deeper intimacy and communication, while others seek independence and self-discovery. It's all part of that emotional evolution, wanting relationships that add peace, not chaos. This is also the stage where empathy often grows stronger. Women in their 40s tend to be great listeners and emotional anchors for others, whether it's for children, partners, or friends. But the challenge is remembering to refill their own emotional cup too, because when we nurture everyone else and forget ourselves, it can quietly lead to burnout. Finding peace in imperfection. One of the most beautiful emotional transformations that happens after 40 is learning to embrace imperfection. We start realizing that life doesn't have to look perfect to feel right. The idea of perfection slowly loses its shine, and authenticity takes its place. There's comfort in knowing we've survived so much, heartbreaks, failures, doubts, and we're still standing. That brings a quiet peace. We start giving ourselves permission to rest, to make mistakes, to not have everything figured out. Emotionally, that's liberation. And it's interesting, many women say they laugh more freely in their 40s. They cry easier too, but in a good way. Because emotions don't feel like a burden anymore. They feel like proof that we're alive and still growing. The power of redefinition. By 40, the emotional narrative starts to change from "what do people think of me" to "who do I want to be now?" It's not about chasing time, it's about redefining it. This is the stage where emotional maturity meets self-awareness, and the result can be incredibly powerful. We start seeing 40 not as an ending, but as a beginning of a new kind of emotional freedom. We stop apologizing for being ourselves. We stop shrinking to make others comfortable. And we start showing up fully, as women who have learned, grown, and evolved. Closing thoughts. So what really happens when a woman hits 40 emotionally? She becomes stronger, wiser, more self-aware, and yes, more sensitive too. She begins to understand her worth in ways she never did before. She learns that peace is more valuable than perfection, and self-love isn't selfish, it's survival. Life at 40 isn't the end of youth, it's the beginning of understanding. It's where we stop chasing who we should be and start embracing who we are. And that